Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, and we are the program that loves to look after your mental health, well-being and success. Now, did you know that the freelance economy has grown by 25% in the last 8 years, equating to around £109 billion a year? Well, with so many people working self-employed, we thought we should discuss the pros and cons of this on the show. And here to help us to do that is our resident psychologist, Dr. Audrey Tang, telling us how working freelance can give workers greater freedom but also less security. We'll also be hearing from Beulah Shadrache, who founded her own training company, Kairos Care, when she noticed there was a serious issue with the ways in which care staff were being trained. She'll be giving her tips on when and how to start your business, as well as the ways in which her business is helping her mental well-being and that of her clients. We'll also be joined by Helena Chard, who'll be telling me all the mental health news in Behind the Fame, and we'll be watching an inspiring story courtesy of the Mental Health Channel, which shows that we all have skills we can adapt to help those around us. Then at the end of the show, I'll be sharing some pointers on how you can keep yourself motivated to work. Now, according to the Office for National Statistics, a record 1 in 7 of the workforce are self-employed, a number which keeps on rising. Freelancers account for a much smaller percentage, around 1.91 million, but this segment of self-employment is the fastest growing here in the UK. A freelancer is typically seen as somebody who's knowledge-based and paid by the hour, often working from home. Almost half of the knowledge-based workers in the UK, US and Germany would consider going freelance, but is it worth it? Well, we checked Twitter to find out. Neffy says, freelance myth, the grind is easier than a full-time job, plus freelancers lack the stability, discipline for a traditional 9 to 5. Providence also agrees, saying a common myth about the freelance life is that it's not as stable as having a full-time job. Not necessarily true. Beverly points out the drawbacks of working for yourself, saying, publicists, we love you, but please don't tell freelance workers to enjoy the weekend. We don't have weekend or enjoy things. Thank you. Cassie isn't too pleased either. She says, finally sent out a stack of invoices for freelance writing this quarter. Now I just have to sit back and wait for those checks to never come. Diana gives some sound advice. If you can't take on a freelance job for whatever reason, always refer someone else. We all have to help one another thrive. So lots of comments out there on freelance work. And if you're a freelancer, do tell us what you think. What are the pros and cons for you? You can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. Well, now it's time for Behind the Fame with Helena Chard. Welcome to the show, Helena.
Thanks, Chrissy. Always a joy.
Yes. What do you have in the news for us today?
Lots of variety of things. So, starting actually with Kim Kardashian, who I wasn't going to start with, but you know, she has lost quite a few followers, social media followers recently, and it's to do with the fact that she was photographed in her bikini. And obviously these images were out on social media, but they weren't edited, so there was no Photoshop going on. So she, just like a normal girl, you know, cellulite and various things, it's okay. But people were really disillusioned about it. In a funny flip way, it's done everyone quite good, I think, because it's, you know, it's good, people are normal, everyone should feel, you know, proud of their bodies. Yeah. And I think there's a new body confident campaign. I think there should be something for men as well, but this is actually for women. Yeah. And all the ladies from Loose Women, there's been a photo shoot recently of them in their underwear. It's just a very, you know, proud, this is who we are. And Brian Adams, who's obviously the rocker, but a great photographer, took the picture. And it's all down to that people have been sick of all these photoshopped images. And obviously, as we know, lots of, especially young teenagers, they aspire to be this perfection, which really isn't there, or for very few of us. And so I think really great. I think really empowering. Yeah. But we do need it for men too. We do need it for men too.
Men are very starting to get very body conscious. Well, they have done for a while.
I think so. You know, with muscly and all the things that they, as we know. Also, recently, Matthew Bryce, he's 22, and he's been all over the news because he's the surfer that was just went out for a quick surf and ended up in waters in Ireland for 32 hours.
Scary.
How could that must have been just so scary, but just so amazing how he was found. I mean, they were going to give up hope, but the lovely thing was how he's so thankful. He cannot believe that, you know, people that saved him are his real heroes, and it's just lovely to hear, because obviously he's recovering, but that's what he's thinking about, how amazing these people are. But 32 hours.
What do you do for that long on your own, like
it's just
on a surfboard in the middle of just, oh my God, it must be so scary.
It was his outfit, and that's another thing to learn, because he had the correct outfit, which is the all neoprene all-in-one with the feet. If he didn't have that on, he wouldn't have survived. So that's a great story. That's a really lovely story. Good for him, Matthew Bryce, which is lovely. Obviously, we had the London Marathon, and it's sort of come and gone, but all charities are still sort of revved up, and lots of money's been raised for different charities, which is great. But one guy that sort of I thought, wow, was a guy called Josh Griffiths. He's 23. And he travelled from North Wales to do the marathon. He was an unknown person, no job, wasn't a runner, didn't have a coach or anything. And he came 13th out of everybody, and he beat all the sort of professional guys and everything. So he's now going to be picked up. So I think he beat all the elite people. Yeah. And he's now going to be running in August for the World Championships. Wow. Which is so amazing. No training, no anything. He just sort of breezed through it.
Naturally talented.
I know. So moving on, we're going to move to Lily Singh. So Lily Singh is 28 and she's from Canada. And she has been sharing her secrets for her success. She joined YouTube about 6 years ago, and it was really to get her over a very dark period where she was dealing with her depression. So she went on to help herself. And she made these little vlogs, as they call it, and she's got a name called Superwoman. So she didn't start out to make money, but now she's in the YouTuber Millionaires Club.
Oh, is she? Wow.
Yeah, so she's made so much money, and she's known for her educational but comical videos, and she's got so many followers. And she has brought out a book, How to Be a Boss, and it's to do with conquering life and fighting for happiness. Which is really great, and she talks about how to be the best person of yourself, which is really great. But it's quite an inspirational little piece, which is lovely.
You just don't know when you start. That's why we always tell the viewers, you need to try new things. You need to just get yourself out there, because you don't know what's going to work. Sometimes it's just one thing that you do, and that just takes off.
I mean, that was really amazing. And moving on to somebody called Rick Steves. He's not so popular here in the UK, but in America, he's a real big travel guide guru. He has a TV programme and everything. And he recently gave a £4 million apartment to homeless women and children. I think it's the YWCA. Because it's affordable housing is one of his things that he's passionate about. And he invests in people and the community, which I just think it's just lovely. It's good, isn't it?
That's amazing.
Which is really nice. So Rick Steves, don't know too much about him. And something which I love, because I always love nature, and people that are passionate about nature, and it's feel good and wonderful. So there's a couple called Anil and Pamela Malhotra, and in 1991 they bought 55 acres of desolate land in India, and they'd always loved nature, and they always knew they wanted to buy land. But now they've got 300 acres, and they have a sanctuary called the Save Animals Initiative, SAI, and it started off as the land, which is very barren. They tried to grow coffee on it, and that's how. So they've basically bought this land back. They grew grasses on it, so insects suddenly came back, and now they've got the trees and everything. And so just tigers, elephants, and other animals. It's taken years and years. But how lovely! Because obviously that's a very expensive business, but must be so rewarding.
It's really lovely.
Wow. Well, it's just really exciting. So. Yeah, for me that's really, really special. And just to say, it's recognised by the National Parks Wildlife Sanctuaries, and it's one of the most significant biodiversity spots on the earth. But can you imagine doing that, just two normal people?
And how many people do they have running it with them now?
Now I've no idea. They must have lots of people. There's something quite exciting about that. And they always knew from a young age it wasn't about making money, they just wanted to give back. And it'd be lovely if more people like that.
That's more fulfilling, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is. And just moving on to something little, so Meghan Trainor, who we obviously know is a singer, she has had problems with her voice box now for quite a while, so I think from about 2015. And just something very sweet that her boyfriend did for her, because she obviously isn't allowed to speak. So the only way that they've been communicating, apart from just absolute mouthing, is by sign language. So he learned sign language for her, and that's just been a really special little thing between them. Yeah. That's sweet.
Oh, I think we'll end on that one. That was quite a cute story.
That's a nice one.
Thank you very much, Helena. And we shall see you again next time.
Thanks, Chrissy.
All right, guys, so we do have more for you before the break. As a great author once said, knowledge is power, and we could all benefit with a little re-education from time to time. So here's how we got on when we did just that at the Natural History Museum.
I think it's important to go to museums because it's basically a kind of like a movie that shows how people have evolved and how different things have evolved and how things have gone on in our society.
It's very educational in a very interesting, self-paced way. You go at your own pace, you learn what you're interested in learning.
We have to learn about the present and the future.
Yes, I think it is inspiring because as an art student, there are a lot of things you need to get done, and sometimes you might not know how to get it done. So coming to museums can just like give you like a flash of inspiration at any point you need. So I do think it's important. It's inspiring and important.
We can see many things who can interest us. If somebody is very interested by gems or by birds or anything else, he could have some more information of that, and that's why it's very interesting to be here.
All of the things that people have been interested in and collected over the centuries, it's inspiring.
To get inspiration, I think yes, go to museum could be a good idea, but also read some books or see some television programs or movies about a topic.
Actually, I'm going to the nature, to the woods, to the sea.
I listen to music, I go on YouTube, I just look up some random things, anything that just kind of pops up and makes you feel inspired, I guess.
I like to go to museums, and then I like to read about the adventurers or the collectors or even the artists who have amassed things for us to see and have been willing to share them with the public.
So now it's time for a question for you before we head into our break. What is the #1 skill provided by freelancers here in the UK? Tune in after the break to find out, where we also have Dr. Audrey Tang, who'll be giving her verdict on how working freelance can improve our careers. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, your TV program for all things related to mental health, well-being and success. Now, before the break, I asked you what the #1 skill provided by freelancers here in the UK was. The answer, according to Elance, it's article writing, which is then followed by content writing, English translation, blogs and web content. Well, here to give us the lowdown on working freelance is our resident jack of all trades, Dr. Audrey Tang.
Hi Chrissy, lovely to speak with you again. I've been freelancing now for about 4 years. There was a year where I had a bit of a crossover. I was holding down my job as well as starting to do some freelance work, but I've been lucky enough, certainly for the last 3 years, to be freelancing full time. Now, I'm a chartered psychologist. I'm also a qualified teacher, and what I do is I deliver a lot of personal development sessions. I work with clients in the corporate sector, I work with clients in universities, I even work with community theatre groups or various other guide groups, lots of different people who want to develop skills such as confidence building, presentation skills, networking skills, and so on. And I'm also teaching mindfulness at the moment too. Now, there's 3 key advantages of being freelance, and the first for me is freedom. The word's in the title. Freelancing gives you that freedom as long as you're organised, and you have to be a little bit strict with yourself sometimes to be able to book a holiday when you want to. Case in point, I'm recording this from Thailand at the moment, and it's absolutely wonderful out here, very, very hot. But with freelancing, I can book my time when I want to. All I need to do is let my clients know that I'm going to be away, and I can reschedule them around those dates. Also, I'm lucky enough to have somebody who I can call in at the last minute just in case if an emergency rescheduling comes up and I can't be there, somebody else can take my place and deliver that particular class. Another wonderful advantage of being freelance is that you're your own boss. Being your own boss basically means that you can pick and choose your jobs. Now, in a way, this can seem counterintuitive because if you're not working, it means you're not necessarily getting the money. But then again, whilst I absolutely adore working for you, Chrissy, there are some people who have approached me where I haven't actually agreed with their values or perhaps their ethics, and I'm able to say no. Working for somebody else, you may well be constrained by your management. The third thing that I absolutely adore about being freelance is that I can do what I feel passionate about. And my form of training is a little bit unusual. I'm very interactive, very experiential. I work with actors. We use role play and skills practice, not in a GCSE drama way, but what we do is I have actors who I brief them, I bring them in, they get to work with the clients are able to practice their skills. The clients don't have to do any acting, they just need to be themselves in a safe environment. We build what is known as a forum to practice those skills that they may find difficult, such as difficult conversations, having to work through disciplinary policies, grievances, and so on. They're able to practice with those actors who understand what I need to get out of them and who understand not to make it too easy for my clients, but to allow them to really know that if they've been able to do it in a safe environment, they are able to do it outside it as well. However, of course, my style of freelancing, or my style of training rather, is a little bit unusual. And if I were to work within a company to deliver learning and development, this may not give me the opportunity or as many opportunities to work in the style that I enjoy. So those are the 3 best things for me about being freelance. There are, of course, disadvantages too. The first being sometimes, especially when you're starting out, even if you don't agree with the ethics or the values, as I said earlier, you may have to take the work because you do need the money. So that's something that you need to be very careful of. One thing that I would try to advise people is to have a second stream of income. Now, I'm very lucky in that my second stream of income comes from renting property. So I'm a landlord in my spare time. So what I do to give me that second stream is something that is complementary to my training, in that it doesn't take up all of my time, so that I am able to concentrate, or if I need to write something, or if I need to deliver something in conferences, or if I'm planning lessons, it doesn't take away from that time. So a second stream of income is quite important, and ideally have a complementary one. Being able to budget is one of the key skills you need to have if you're freelancing. Every year I have to do my own self-assessment tax returns. I have to make sure that I understand when the dense times are, when there's a lot of work coming in, and then when I actually have to save money in order to get me through the times where there's a little less work. So you do have to be quite careful, you do have to be quite strict. What I tend to do is my money is paid into a business account, and then I pay myself a salary, and then I can work out how much I can give myself at that time. Other disadvantages is that there may not be a niche for your particular skills. Now, I have to hustle. I do have to say to people that this is why my style of training is so important. This is why my style of development and my style of coaching can be so worthwhile. However, I've continued my own professional development, and I'm also a psychometrics practitioner. So if people want a little bit more of a normal or conventional style of training, I am able to develop that. So you have to be aware of keeping your own training going. Your own professional development is key. Freelancing is not easy. As I say, budget is important. Knowing your market is very important. And actually being able to sell your wares. You do need to speak to people, you do need to network, so make the most of social media, make the most of all the different outlets that you've got, try and get testimonials where you can, again, really, really important, and enjoy your work, because you are going to have to be doing it an awful lot of the time. I can be working and recording things, or planning lessons, or delivering coaching sessions, depending on the time difference for some of my clients, at all hours, and you do have to be prepared to do that. But as I said, if you're passionate about something and you really want to do it, then it's absolutely one of the most wonderful things you can do. So to everybody who is considering going freelance, do think about these key things. Yes, you have that freedom. Yes, you are your own boss, and yes, you can do something that you're passionate about, but please, please manage your finances very, very carefully. Be very aware of what you need in order to be a legitimate business. I have insurance, professional insurance, indemnity insurance. Please have your tax returns done at the appropriate time. And please do look after yourself, especially if you are in the fields that I'm in. You do have to be very careful as well. So there's a lot of wonderful things, but do freelance with your eyes open too.
Thank you very much to Audrey Tang. Now, doing anything new, be it starting a new job or trying out a new activity, can be daunting, but the end results are always worth it. Let's take a look at this. Hi everyone, today I'm here at New Forest Activities, and this is Sam Sutton, who's going to be telling us all about the activity that I'm going to try today. Hello Sam.
Hi there Chrissy. We're about to have a go at archery, so we're going to teach you a little bit about shooting a bow and arrow, hopefully getting you to a good standard, so the idea is that you can then teach some skills to your friend and pass on what you've learned.
So I also have to say, gorgeous surroundings here. So lucky for you to work here every day.
It's beautiful, isn't it? You get, when you come out in nature, you get a real sense of openness and space, and it helps people to relax. So when you're learning skills, the environment is a quite important factor. The first thing we need to do, which hand do you write with? Are you left or right-handed?
Right.
You're right-handed. You probably know that. Which eye do you? Sounds bizarre, doesn't it? So the way that we're going to do that, if you make a little triangle between your hands there, I'm going to step back just a little way. If you just look at me straight in the face, straight on my nose, push your arms out a bit towards me, and I can see one of your eyes. I can see your right eye. That means you're right eye dominant.
Okay.
Here's a bow. It's a 3-part trainer bow. So if you turn the knuckle down, so you've got a nice flat surface, so you've got gravity working with us. You can take your arrow, see, I'll let you do it, and you just place it on the rest, and it's going to click, audibly click, between those 2 metal knocking points on the string. So now the bow's loaded, you're ready to shoot. Before you do that, when you shoot, imagine it's going to be a nice fluid motion. So you're going to bring the bow up, you're going to draw that string back to your cheek, you're going to look right down the arrow and release. Bring that up, perfect, elbow up, nice and high, and then release. Wow, excellent, good. How does that feel?
Good.
It's all right, wasn't it? Yeah? Brilliant, so we'll let you do all of that now. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Bring it up, nice and high, elbow up, straight line. Lovely.
Just make sure you tie it to the right side of the arm.
Okay everybody, so now that I'm an expert in archery,
You're gonna see about that.
now it's time for me to try to teach my friend Motti, who you've all seen before on the programme. Are you ready, Motti?
Yeah, I am.
Right, so first of all we have to work out what your dominant eye is.
Okay.
Which one? Look at me through the triangle.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay, so you are right eye dominant. Okay, so when you're going to shoot, let me just show you first.
Okay.
Hold on a minute. No, hold on. Right. No. Okay. Okay, so you're going to hold it from here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so when you're going to load your arrow, you have to turn it like this, okay? You take your arrow, you hold it underneath this bit, your hand rests nicely here, okay?
Okay.
You're about to load, so you will take your arrow, make sure the odd colour is pointing upwards.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to hear a little click. And then you put your 3 fingers underneath with a little bit of space there. And then you're going to bring it up in one movement. Okay, so, and you breathe in as you bring it up and you just try to keep a nice movement.
Okay. A fluid movement.
Yes.
Okay.
So then you lift it up in one go.
All right.
And you aim for the bullseye, okay?
Okay.
Or whatever you can get.
All right.
So are you ready to give it a go now?
Ready. Get one of these.
Yeah.
And odd color up.
Yes. Well done.
This clicks in.
Did it click?
It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
That's it. Further back, further back. And let go. Woo! That was great! That was really good! Well done!
Good teacher, good teacher.
So I've completed my archery challenge with Sam here. So Sam, how do you think I did, honestly?
I thought it was really good. I think while you were first starting out, sometimes there's a little bit more information than what you could take on board. But as she got into it and you started guiding her, it seemed that the coaching was really having an impact. And although she had that sort of beginner's luck hour right at the very start, you could see after that things were progressively getting a lot better. And it was through your guidance that was happening.
So I really enjoyed it. It's good fun. Now, what kind of people normally come here? Do you have lots of groups coming here to do something like this?
Yeah, we work with all types of people. I mean, we say archery is the sort of medium, and then we adapt that medium depending on the type of group and the type of person. So it could be anything from a family group, children's birthday party, or even a corporate group doing a team building day. And we'll just frame the activity differently to kind of suit the group. So sometimes an emphasis on, like you were with learning and coaching, and sometimes it's just more some demonstrations and fun and a bit of competition.
It's quite fun to learn how to coach as well. It gives you a bit of confidence too, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when we do some work with the Princess Trust, we do some sort of development programs with young people. We use this as a coaching exercise. So they're thinking about different types of learning, so a nice visual demonstration, a bit of a description, and then lots of activity having a go. The kind of 3 main sort of models for learning, really. And we'll try and teach that to them so they'll have some skills for life. But we're using archery as the sort of medium to put it across.
Sam, thank you so much for today. It's been great. Well, now I have a question for you. What brings in more money to the UK economy? Freelancers or the automotive sector? Tune in after the break to find out, when I'll also be hearing from founder of Kairos Care, Beulah Shadrache, on how she set up her own care business. And we also have a lovely, delicious and healthy recipe for you. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, your TV program that looks after your mental health, well-being and success. Now, before the break, I asked you which sector brought in more money to the UK economy, freelancers or automotion? Well, despite the UK building well over 1 million cars last year, it's those freelancers amongst us that bring in the more money, £109 billion to be exact. Well, as always on this program, we like to bring you the most inspiring success stories, and I'm delighted that my next guest will be sharing hers. Her name is Beulah Shadrache, founder of Kairos Care. Hello, Beulah.
Hi, Chrissy.
Lovely to have you on the program.
Thank you.
So tell us, what is Kairos Care and what do you do?
Okay, so we're a health and social care company. We provide care services. We also render recruitment services to other care providers, place trained care staff in nursing and residential homes, and we are also involved in training care staff and delivering apprenticeships as well.
Okay. Now, what was the reason for setting this up in the first place? Because you did go through something that quite upset you, didn't you? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I've worked in health and social care now for a number of years. My background's in education. I'm an ex-teacher, lecturer. And when I started working in health and social care, I realised that staff were not trained properly. People were just thrown in at the deep end, or some staff would turn up with 5 certificates of online training, which they had in one day.
God, that doesn't teach you anything, does it?
No, it doesn't, because it's a tick box exercise. They will read information on the computer screen and then have to do multiple choice tests. 20 of them. After that, they sent out to go care for the vulnerable people that we have in care homes and also agencies.
What kind of problems and risks does that cause though when people aren't trained properly?
Well, I mean, just everything. If you are not trained to care for somebody, you can't meet the person's needs first, and that is what it's about. It's about meeting people's needs who can't have various things that they can't do for themselves. Moving and handling, for instance, how to move and position somebody who can't or has limited mobility. If a carer can't move that person safely, not only is the carer at risk, but the service user is at risk as well. Both of them. I should actually say it the other way, because it's the vulnerable person who's very much at risk. Yes.
So that was a huge, or is a huge issue.
It is.
Now, why did you feel so? Because obviously you took it a step further. You thought, I have to do something about this. Why were you so passionate about actually changing this and trying to do your part for this?
I'm passionate about caring for people. I have always been passionate, even as a teacher. I just wanted to do voluntary work, in health and social care. And I actually had a very interesting experience where I fell ill, couldn't work, I had to leave teaching. And then through a process of 8 months of having various procedures and operations, I was obviously exposed to the health and social care setting more than, the average person. So in that time, was really an eye-opener. And then also when I started regaining my strength after 8 months, I actually started caring for people in their homes, people who were at end of life, terminally ill with cancer. And when I started caring for them, I went home and told my husband, this is something I can do without being paid for it. It's almost as if I stepped into, what
just
my purpose
naturally to
what
you.
my purpose is on this earth, and then combining my, training as a teacher, I just brought the two together. And
how is the business going now?
It is going well. We have. We started off like any other business, you sort of, one day it's up and one day it's down. But we've managed to, just recently secure some big contracts, which, has set the stage now, for building the business. So I feel the foundation's been laid, and now we can build on what we have.
What does it do for you as well? Because obviously you are really helping other people out there, and probably you can't even imagine the impact that it's having on people's lives, because you're not going to get to always see that, but just you're preventing a lot of bad things from happening, helping people to get the best care. But for yourself, for your own mental health and well-being, what's this doing for you?
Well, I feel, to me, it's like I said, I feel this is, what I feel I'm called to do. So there's a great sense of I'm making a difference. I am not just empowering people to care effectively and efficiently, but I'm also, putting things in place for the vulnerable people whom we care for to get the best care.
I think that's what makes someone the happiest, because a lot of people sort of, okay, I know, it's good to work and, to have the good things in life, of course it is, but helping people, there's just something about that, isn't there, that really makes you happy, and that goes a lot deeper than any amount of money can.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Okay, and Beulah, for anyone watching that wants to start their own business, what advice would you give them?
I think it's perseverance, and first of all, you have to believe in what you do. Once you have, your vision, and that is what you focus on when things don't go as planned. You know, you have to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And yes, and that keeps you going.
Okay, and any future plans for Kairos Care?
Well, there's so many because not only do we, you know, have a business here, but also in South Africa.
Okay,
and that's been running for next month will be 4 years.
Oh wow!
And we actually started that business off as a non-profit company, and we delivered free care for people. You know, couldn't afford the services, and you know, yet again, it is growing, developing, and. Yeah, so there's just so much, you know, that we have planned because we're just in the process also of becoming an assessment centre. So we will be able to offer more qualifications as well.
That's brilliant. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing.
It
Well
is.
done.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best, and do keep in touch and let us know how it's all going.
We'll do so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, so you can't really help people or do good things on an empty stomach. And you know, on this program, we love to show you healthy recipes. So here's one from Hannah Richards.
Hello and welcome to the MTS Kitchen. My name's Hannah Richards, and today I'm going to show you how to make a chicken liver pate. Chop your mushrooms nice and roughly, and then some onions. Okay, so now you've got your onions and your mushrooms. We're going to take them over to the pan and start cooking with our meat. I'm just going to take a spoon of some coconut oil here. Coconut oil is great for a variety of different health issues. I'm going to start with a little bit of sea salt as well, some black pepper. So in go the onions. Throw in your mushrooms as well. So this is the chicken liver. It's organic. I like to, if I'm using an organ meat, I'll always use organic meat. It's fresh from today. It's not everyone's cup of tea, organ meat, but it's got really great health benefits to it. I'm just going to throw them all in there and mix them all through. Okay, so those chicken livers are more brown than they are pink, and I think we're ready for my spinach. So the spinach is just a handful. I'm going to give it a bit of a tear as I put it in. I'm going to top that off with half a lemon, the juice of half a lemon. And this is going to be a dairy-free chicken liver pate. So here I've got coconut cream, not milk. And I'm now going to turn the heat down and let it all simmer. Okay, so this has sort of been simmering away for long enough, and I'm just going to take half a bunch of parsley and chop it. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the bullet to do this chicken liver pate, because your bullet machine can do absolutely anything you ask it and whiz it up. Done. Okay? And I'm just going to pour it into one of these dishes here, like that. And I'm going to let that set and let that cool. And I'm just going to do that with the rest of the liver pate. It's great for taking to parties, taking on picnics, you know, taking to dinner parties as a dip, using as a dip instead of, you know, copious buckets of crisps and nuts and things like that. You can cut carrots and courgettes, cucumbers, and dip them in the pate. It's for me, it's a great recipe. It's a great food. I eat it at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's a great all-rounder to health.
Thank you very much for that recipe. Now, another question for you. How many of us could be self-employed by 2020? I'll tell you after the break, where I'll also be showing you an inspiring story of how a group of veterans use their skills to help better their community. And I'll be sharing some tips on how you can stay motivated at work. welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, where today we've been talking all about the pros and cons of working freelance, as well as the benefits of starting your own business and how doing so can help improve the well-being of many others around you. Now, before the break, I asked you how many of us could be self-employed by 2020. That's just 3 years away. Well, the answer, according to People Per Money, is around half of us. But does the thought of going self-employed still scare you? Maybe some of you think you have nothing to offer those around you. Perhaps you're unsure how your skills can improve other people's lives, or in the case of this next video, your skills might seem redundant in civilian life. In this video by the Mental Health Channel, veterans find new ways of using skills learnt in battle to help refurbish a school in one of their poorest local communities. Let's take a look.
This is an awe-inspiring event for me, and it's because of people like you, and it's because of the heroes that come in this building every day to make the impossible possible for the 576 students that are growing up in one of the lowest and the poorest zip codes in this city. I want to thank you for your service. Thank you for being the giants on whose shoulders we stand every day, because you all fought and protect the very work that we do every day. You all allow us to be free.
I'm an Army veteran, Mission Continued staff member. I'll be leading the project today. Now, when I came here about 3 months ago to speak with Principal Kearney, I had told him 300 volunteers are gonna be working in one day and gonna refurbish the entire school. He didn't believe me. But we're here to prove him wrong. Let's get to work.
Start scrubbing this here, spray down.
Let's run these brooms down the court first thing. If it doesn't grow, it needs to go.
We've got some extra bodies out here.
Ring doors, let me know. So we're going in there, we're gonna completely refurbish the insides. We're gonna paint 30,000 square feet. We're gonna build a whole new garden. Then we're gonna build benches all around the school. And we're also gonna plant trees and clean the park here. How's it going?
Awesome!
No way. 7th grade. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I did 4 years in the Marine Corps. When you get out, it's kind of like leaving the wolf pack. You know, you've been running, going, 0 to 60 in, 1.2 seconds, and, you've been with your wolf pack here for X amount of years, and then you get out and it's just like walking alongside the highway.
Going to sleep and waking up to 6 howitzers screaming across the gun line, or machine guns opening fire, or the intense heat of the Afghan summer, all of it was pretty nerve-wracking. But you got used to it, which ended up being the hard part for transition.
For me, I was definitely lucky when I got out. I had a full-time job, and by all means, on paper, I was a successful transition. But there's something that was missing. There was this sense of doing something bigger, the sense of purpose, the sense of identity. My identity had completely been changed. I was a leader for our country, and all of a sudden I'm back to square one.
Post-traumatic stress was something that didn't go away. It was something I was going to deal with for the rest of my life. They could give me, drugs that would sort of mitigate the symptoms, but they couldn't change my reality. Day-to-day functions were nearly impossible. I didn't have an answer anymore. I didn't have rank. I didn't have somebody I could ask, and I felt like I had no resources whatsoever. And I was done. I was going to kill myself, and I'm not even a little proud of that. That's like, for me, that's like a moment where I couldn't find any other reason to stay. I don't know how else to put it. Like, nothing tied me down anymore.
With the lack of purpose, just kind of having no path at all, this is what leads people down those paths. Depression, veteran suicide.
So a friend of mine told me about the Mission Continues. A friend of mine said, I'm a part of this really great thing. Would you mind if I gave your name to a recruiter?
So just brush away from wherever we're going to be painting, gentlemen and ladies.
If you don't see what's ahead, you have no target to aim at. So that's what a lot of people are suffering from. And that's why having an organization like the Mission Continues really matters, because you're taking somebody and helping them spin their life in the right direction. You know, using all the stuff that they used to do in the most positive and upbeat way. And you have a team of people there that it's like instant bonding.
So if that service event hadn't happened, I wouldn't be working here. I probably wouldn't even be alive. But the real magic of what our program does, the real reason why it's powerful, is because it allows those interactions to happen between transitioning veterans, and you see that you're not alone. You see that you're a part of something bigger, and all around you are like-minded people that also want to change that narrative, that don't want to be a liability anymore, that want to be an asset again, that want to find a sense of spirit and a sense of camaraderie.
It's really, you're being fueled by pride, and the person that's standing to your left and to your right. And obviously, when you look around, there's a purpose for us being here today in Southeast DC. Is to make an impact on this community, which really needs it.
We also like to say is that, like, veterans, we don't necessarily want you to tell us, like, thank you. We want to tell you to tell us that you still need us.
We want to be a part of something again. We want to have a sense of identity that's bigger than ourselves. We want to help the community. We want to still serve.
Good morning. Work hard, dream big, become great. Please prepare for today's announcements. Over the weekend, folks, you'll notice we had about 300 men and women of the armed forces here. They redid our book room, they painted our hallways, they redesigned our courtyard, made murals. It's just it's wonderful, the work that these men and women came together on Saturday to do for our community. We want to make sure that we keep the building as clean as it is now when you arrived. So with that being said, when the bell rings, please move to first period. Be respectful, be responsible, be safe, be ready to learn.
Thank you very much to the Mental Health channel for that video, and if you'd like to know more about them, do head over to our website, chrissybshow.tv, and check out our contributors section. So now it's time for my tips, and today I'm looking at how to keep yourself motivated at work, whether that's freelance, self-employed, or for your employer. So let's take a look at the first one, which is to give to yourself in the morning. So a problem that a lot of people have is that they're kind of rushing around and working really hard, and they have very little time to do anything for themselves. And then by the end of the day, they're so exhausted, they end up just going to bed, and it's like they've kind of just worked and not really done anything for themselves. So my suggestion, and what I like to do, is wake up really early, and you can actually use that time just for you. So maybe you can exercise, maybe you can just spend some time doing something that you enjoy, go for a nice walk. Do all of that before you actually start your work, whether that's leaving the house or doing something from home. And sometimes even something like cleaning your house is a good thing to do first thing in the morning as well, because then your mind isn't constantly on it afterwards. I know, for example, that if I don't like to leave the house a mess when I go out to work or when I come to the studio. I like to know that everything is in order, because otherwise I feel a bit agitated. I like to have everything in order, so I like to do things in the morning as well. And then my mind is free to kind of think about work and do other things later on. My next point is to push yourself. So try not to do the same thing all the time. Challenge yourself, or else you will actually lose motivation. Life gets really, really boring when we're doing the same thing day in, day out. Now, it's easier to kind of try new things when you are working for yourself, or if you're a freelancer, you can take on different jobs. But in the case of when you're actually employed and you have someone overseeing you, you can always ask your employer, look, can I try something different? I'd like to maybe learn some skills in this. Can I maybe do some training in this area? And you'll find that actually your employer will probably appreciate the fact that you do want to learn and grow. So even if you are in that kind of job that's very monotonous and you're doing the same things all the time, there are other things that you can do. Maybe it's even visiting a different department in the organization and finding out how they work and what they do and how that relates to what you do. Or maybe just ask to be in some kind of brainstorming session where you can also give your opinion. Just make something different. Do something that will kind of push you a bit more and to do something completely different. And the next point is to get enough rest. Now, this is really, really important because people underestimate that how much of an impact not getting enough rest has on us. And you can lose motivation if you are feeling tired. Now, I did say earlier that you could try waking up early, and actually you might be thinking, well, how am I going to get enough rest if I'm waking up early? But obviously the trick is to go to bed earlier, because we're all nice and fresh in the morning usually, or if we've had a good night's sleep. So just try to switch things up a bit and go to bed a bit earlier and then wake up earlier and do things while you've got lots of energy, rather than trying to do things late at night and then not sleeping well and being worried because you haven't got the things done that you need to do. And then the next point is to work on work relationships. Now, this one is very important because if, for example, you're not getting along well with your colleagues, this is if you're employed, you're not getting along with your work colleagues, or there's tensions in the office, of course, you're not going to feel very motivated to go into work. So if there are any issues, try and sort them out and don't make a big deal of things. Everyone's different. We're from different backgrounds. We have different ideas. We work in different ways. But try not to let little things agitate you. Accept that some people work differently to the way you do, and just try and get along and look at the good stuff about each person that you work with. And in the case of freelancing, again, you can, maybe try to work more with the people that you get along with and that you resonate with, rather than the ones maybe that aren't so good. But again, you can try and work with different people and be more understanding and be more open to learn things from them as well. Well, guys, we have reached the end of today's program, but if you have anything that you would like to share, maybe it's something that you've heard on our story previously, our good cause, maybe you have a good cause or you do something great for other people and you'd like to showcase that on this program, do get in touch with us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And until next time, bye-bye for now. What brings in more money to the UK economy? Freelancers or how do you say this word? What brings in more money to the UK economy? Freelancers or what brings in more money to the UK economy? Freelancers or the automotive sector? Oh my goodness, what is wrong with me?